I've got a classic book to movie for you today and a glaring indictment of cancel culture. It is Fahrenheit 451, written in 1951 and twice adapted to the screen. First in 1966 and remade in 2018. And it is the 2018 adaptation that I'm working with today. The book itself is fairly short, only 158 pages, and moves pretty quickly. The 2018 movie is a little over an hour and a half, and surprisingly doesn't share all that much with the book. Additionally, I recognize some elements from V for Vendetta with the overseeing dictatorship called the Ministry and the big guy in charge issuing orders from a huge screen to a miniaturized underling. There's also elements from 1984 with all the excessive assimilation and slogans like freedom is choice. Although, such words are perverted in this case. What the book and this movie do share is that the firemen in the story, with Guy Montag at the forefront, are not heroes. They are, for lack of a better description, terrorists. They do not fight fires, they start them when they find someone who's been hiding books in this dystopian future where reading is forbidden. Also, we see Montag seriously start changing his tune when he watches an old woman go down in flames with her books in an act of martyrdom. There's also the excessive dependence on AI and automation, keeping everyone complacent, lazy, and blissfully placated. What is only in the book is Montag's wife, Millie, who has been so entranced for years on the TV programs played on their walls that she and Montag have more or less become strangers. The book also starts with a routine book burning along with the house they were found in as a punitive measure. And after leaving the scene is when Montag meets Clarice for the first time. And she's not a rebel, just a kid with a curious mind for the world around her, and she likes to socialize and do little crafts outside while enjoying the weather. And she and Montag get wrapped up in conversation that intrigues him, all while the world around them is just going largely ignored because nobody is allowed to read, think for themselves, or take it easy once in a while. In mentioning a man jailed for driving slowly to take in scenery, instead of remaining plugged into the rat race 24/7. And just as quickly as Clarice is introduced to Montag's life, she is gone. Her and her whole family just erased. And then comes the shocking scene where the old lady goes down in a blaze of glory with her books. And after that, Montag starts to squirrel away books he can discreetly steal from the burn piles. He tries to read poetry to his wife and her friends, and some of them freak out and leave the house, while she just digs her heels in and remains glued to the TV, which takes up the entire wall in this vision of the future. What is also only in the book are the hunting machines called hounds. They are robotic bloodhounds with syringes for teeth that are loaded up with paralyzing drugs. And in the beginning of the book, the firemen turn these hounds loose on rats and stray cats for their own amusement. When it is discovered that Montag has been concealing books at his home, Beatty surprises him by, loading everyone up in the fire truck as per their routine and going straight to his house. And it is there that Montag turns his flamethrower on Beatty right away, just as Millie is leaving him and his home gets burned up anyway. And now Montag is a fugitive, being hunted by the hounds and something similar to drones. He finds his way to the homeless rebels, all with very expensive educations and names for the books they have memorized. Montag is named after the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible. What is only in the movie is that in the beginning, the firemen are kind of preaching to a group of school children in a school environment that looks very, very much, it's very assimilated, almost kind of like, dare I say, Hitler Youth. All right, also, only in the movie is the AI named Yuxi. That is Montag's only company at home. And in this movie, Clarice is a confidential informant, trading secrets for her freedom. The group of people who live on the fringe of society with their books are called eels, which is not explained in the movie at all, so they're just eels. And when caught with books, their freedom is taken away by suspension of their identity, so they can't do anything. Also, I was almost remiss to mention that a small element of the circle is in this movie since everything everyone does, especially the firemen, is broadcasted on live feed constantly. Especially the shocking moment when the old lady self-immolates and with her last breath says the word omnes, which is Latin or ancient Greek, not sure which, meaning everything. And it turns out omnis is knowledge that runs deep in its carrier's DNA and is at this time being kept in a pet bird, which is rescued and released at the end to spread omnis around the world. So the movie ends with Montag as an outlaw as he turns his flamethrower first on another fireman, then on Beatty, and then frees the birdie in distress to join a huge flock of birds at the end to spread this omnis and free everyone from their empty-headed prison. And that is all for Fahrenheit 451. As always, don't forget to keep me going with your comments, likes, shares, subscribes, and my sponsor in the comments. Please excuse the mess behind me. I'm not as I once was with my neuropathy in my foot, so I'll get this tidied up eventually. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.